Hello, everybody. Welcome to another casual YouTube hangout.
Yes, another little impromptu one since we were informed yesterday that we won't have access to the radio again.
Yeah.
Since it's a bank holiday here for anyone who is outside of England and has no clue what those things are.
Plus, I like to take advantage of like every week that we have, because soon enough we probably won't have the ability to just like
We'll figure
have our
something
show.
out.
Yeah, but still, like now that we're here, we better
Make the best of it.
Yeah.
So, how are we making the best of it this time?
We're gonna talk about cryptids, and if anyone if you don't know what cryptids are, it would be anything that would be under the like
Just
monster sighting.
In basic, it's a much more varied way of saying both aliens and monsters, putting them into the same category, because that's the thing. Some aliens are classed as
there's different
cryptids.
There's different types of cryptids. It would be anything that goes from like the Bigfoot and Sasquatch and Yeti stuff to mermaids and Mothmans.
It's basically anything that's not confirmed to be alive but speculated.
Yeah, there's been like sightings of it. Some of them have like mythical origins. Some of them have like prehistorical, like dinosaur type origins, like maybe like extinctions. I saw on this website that the dodo was a cryptid, which is like
really?
No, because like it existed. I didn't like end up clicking on it, which I should have probably, because like dodos did exist.
I mean,
So
if the theory is that they're still alive, they could be classed as cryptids. Because obviously, I was looking through a list earlier in which it was just a list of cryptids, and a lot of them were just dinosaurs like the Loch Ness, who have just been theorized to still being alive.
The megalodon is like one of the famous ones. There's been a couple of films done about it. I don't know how it's pronounced. All the cryptids are pronounced in like different ways.
Favorites. For anyone who doesn't know, a megalodon is a prehistoric
huge shark that's supposed to be like bigger than a great white.
And then some awful movie producer out there decided they were going to make a movie about megalodons called Meg, and I just went,
really?
Yeah, have you not?
In Spain, I think it was just called the megalodon.
In England, the name for it is Meg. The film. And I went, really? You're making a film about one of the world's most like terrifying creatures out there, and you're going to call it Meg?
Megan the
All
shark.
I get is Family Guy PTSD. Like, hey, Meg. But apparently it was awful. But that's the thing, is like I don't know how they managed to ruin that, because that's the terrifying thing about it.
I mean, Jaws is already a thing, and it was successfully like
thing
scary.
That you can't
but
see.
all the follow-up ones weren't. So like maybe
Jaws
it is
3D.
true that like we only we could only have one good shark film.
But no, that's the thing.
And Shark Tale.
Oh, there's Deep Blue Sea, and I think the one that was like 47 feet. Well, that's a recent one where it's people trapped in a shark cage that like floats to the bottom of the. See, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I like that. But they get stuck in shark-infested waters. But it was the fact that like
just testing out the flex seal.
It was just the fact that
all the interns that died during the testings.
I know they had to test if that was all right. But it's like, I think what's terrifying about the megalodon is the fact that it kind of could exist, like, because of how little we know. I mean, we fought cryptid that did turn out to be real, the giant squid, technically the kraken,
I guess,
because from all old literature of a kraken, it was, a big octopus or a big squid, giant squid. Guess what? They exist, beach, and they did generally attack ships.
But
mainly out of self-defense. But
when they supposed to be like super fucking huge.
Yeah, they still do exist in the fact that like they just live in like the trench. What's it called?
Oh, the Mariana Trench.
The marinated trench.
Okay. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
Yes, for once.
Okay, because I like that. But what cryptids were you going to talk about?
Yes, my main one is going to be one of my favorites.
By the way, let us know what your favorite cryptid is. There's like a lot.
Definitely. There is so many. And that's what I love about them is like from the amount of times that we went on about SCPs, you should know that I love the idea of cryptids like these.
I had to search if like vampires were cryptids because like technically they would count like as cryptids, and technically they are according to the Cryptid wiki, which I would leave in the description later.
Yeah, I mean I think it definitely would, because there's literally a whole category on the list that I saw for cryptids that were just serpent creatures. It was just different versions of different Loch Ness monsters, and the fact that like
there's always like in every lake.
Like Canada's version, I can't remember what the name of it or what the name for it would be. Sorry, and it was like, what was it, Pogo Gogo or something like that? Like,
oh yeah, something like that.
Oh, that made me laugh. I'll find it. But yes, the Mothman is going to be my main one that I talk about because I do like it. But as well as that, there's a good few that I have found online now. I just want to quickly sum up.
I made it a thing to just look at the ones that had the most ridiculous names.
Yeah, that's literally the only, like, I think there was one that sounded like the beginning of a film that I said to you.
Although I did find the Flatwoods monster interesting. I had this documentary saved for ages because I tend to do this thing where I like open tabs in YouTube and I'll just save it for later instead of saving it in a watch later list.
Yeah.
And I had this documentary and we watched it yesterday, and it was about a cryptid that was the Flatwood monster, which was in West Virginia, and it was just this creature that had this like ace-shaped head and like a skirt kind of like bottom, although people weren't like they didn't agree on what exactly it looked like. But yeah, it was kind of interesting, and I'm pretty sure all of the cryptid.
I loved the main media.
It's not even like pictures or anything.
Yeah, there's like drawings of it, isn't it?
Yeah, but
and that's what fueled it, is that everyone was just making their own little creations out of the vague description that
I'm pretty sure most of the drawings in the video were made by the guy that made
I mean, there was the
one that's like kind of realistic. It's pretty decent.
I just love the one where everyone was like, it's a snake in a suit of armor. So basically, I love the fear of it because it's like,
it's an alien in a suit.
Yeah, it's an alien in a suit. But like the way they described it and like ended up drawing it was such like a proper old original Doctor Who villain monster thing, where it's literally,
it looks so like
it is literally a big ball
times.
Dalek. It's like a Dalek that can't move its legs; it just hovers all over, and then they
looks like a trash can.
Yeah, we'll be able to find like a picture.
Yeah, I'll link it, the documentary below.
It's literally
where it, has all the drawings.
As if a snake had a human body and decided the best way to walk around was to constantly curl its back end up into like a skirt, and then just sort of float around, just completely sat up straight. And it's like
ridiculous. But yeah, what were you gonna say about the Mothman?
Yes.
Educate us about the Mothman.
Mothman. Let me quickly get my notes out. So basic one is it began and originated in West Virginia with the first.
Why is it always
West Virginia? Because oh my god, the amount of cryptids that come from West Virginia, stupid.
There's a map. I've seen like maps of the states and stuff, and like each cryptid.
There's like a swampish monster. Wendigos are supposed to be from which technically
I was gonna look them up, cryptids. But I didn't. See, the thing is, like, it gets to a point where like cryptids and creepypastas kind of cross over.
Yeah.
Like skinwalkers and all that stuff, and yeah, mostly skinwalker type stuff. And the Wendigos are kind of skinwalkers. But yeah, go on. West Virginia, where everything happens. There was a lot of like alien sightings as well, because it was the era of sci-fi.
I'm pretty sure yours was the serpent in the suit ones from West Virginia as well.
Yeah. That's what I said.
You know how terrible my memory is.
As we.
But yes, it.
Well, yes,
I was going to say.
No, but like I thought it has like bat wings almost in this one.
Yeah, that's.
I just saw this picture and I forgot we were talking about the Mothman because it's like bat wings.
So if anyone who doesn't know,
but the thing is, this is the type of wings that I would imagine, like literal, just like a giant.
Yeah,
moth.
That's for anyone who doesn't
like
know,
more like a scary butterfly.
That is the statue that
they actually have a statue.
Yeah, that's the town statue. That's not some random statue. That's the statue that the town
sculpture
council
by I can't read it. Bob Roach, nice one. Bob Roach, New Haven. West Virginia.
Classical roach made a moth statue.
It has abs.
Yeah.
It has abs on it.
Mothman's ripped, man.
Oh god. But yeah, sorry, go on. Or this is more like what I imagined. Like literally like no
That's
neck.
what the main way it was described. So basically.
Oh yeah, the classic on the bridge.
Yes, we'll get to the bridge later. The Mothman was mainly described in this way, in which it was this terrifying owl-like or humanoid creature with massive wings and massive red eyes. That was the main description, the main thing that terrified it. As well as that, it had a tendency to appear people and cause accidents while appearing, which gave it the theory that it was a bad omen or even a fallen angel. Mm-hmm. So there was a religious take on it, and with a lot of things from West Virginia, especially cryptids, there was the big.
Is it aliens or is it just a monster?
Is it aliens? It's a monster, or is it a demon or an angel? It had so many people were trying to think of it. The thing that made it worse, though, was the bridge, and the fact that I can't remember when.
I didn't think that was like specific for that. It's like a couple pictures back.
Couple of pictures back.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that just. But
there's some good ones.
But the
bridge.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get the things up. The main incident that gave it the name of Bad Omen was the day that West Virginia's Silver Bridge collapsed, which was on the 15th of December 1967. And during that bridge collapse, about 46 people died as a result, and many more were injured. And the reason this gave the Mothman more sort of limelight and the bad omen thing was the fact that people apparently reported seeing the Mothman either on the bridge or nearby as it collapsed. So people took this in one or two ways. Either the Mothman was trying to warn people and scare them off the bridge to help them, warn them of the coming crisis, or Mothman was the one who went, fuck this bridge, and then just destroyed the bridge while people were on it, causing, or was just straight up a bad omen of like...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so technically free.
Yeah.
So there's three theories there. But even before that, he had been reported a good few times. One of the very first reports was such a proper horror movie setup. Imagine this group of teenagers in their car, in a nice convertible car, because all American kids had them.
Lover's Lane.
In a Lover's Lane, the dark night they were out partying.
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry.
This is where like Pinkie's head goes full exorcist, does a 360. Still needs to click it. But no, yeah, a group of teenagers who were out on a late night drive after coming back from a gig or something, got terrified because next thing they were driving down this really dark alley. No, it was just in the middle of the forest. They were driving down the middle of the forest. Obviously, there's no lights, and all of a sudden, all they see in the back window, right up in the back window, like as if it's grabbing onto the thing, is just these massive glowing red eyes. That terrifies them. It then flies in front of them, and they proceed to nearly drive off the road, trying to drive away from it. Eventually, they did drive away from it and went straight to the police station, in which the police officer just had to calm down a group of teenagers screaming that they'd just been attacked by a monster. And that is where the main description of it comes, in which for the townspeople, Mothman is basically, this is a really awkward, embarrassing.
I like that. I like that Mothman anatomy. He's just like a grown-ass man with butterfly wings.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Is the oh my god, people have got married in front of it.
Yes. Yes.
People, sorry, lovely people, but you ain't showing off. You got married as Mothman as your witness. But
maybe the Mothman just married them.
Yes, so the basic description that it's people who started to see Mothman between these times gave this as some sort of humanoid creature that either had wings on its back or arms as wings, and was just pure pitch blackness with little to no head really showing. Either a head wasn't there and it was like part of the torso thing, or it was just hunched over, in which that's why a lot of the photos you get of it, it's hunched over in some way. And so this was, I mean, something like that, it's hard to describe sort of thing. So whenever people thought they saw it, they went, Mothman, brilliant, fits the description, easy. But after a while, I'm not sure if it was straight after the Silver Bridge incident or soon after, people stopped seeing the Mothman as much, and then basically none at all.
2016.
Apparently in 2016, the guy caught a photo, published a photo with it in, but it seems to be.
Let me not believe that.
Yeah, this one. See, this really, really close one. This really end one seems to just be someone trying to cash grab it.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2016 already.
Yes, so after the Silver Bridge collapse, the Mothman wasn't really seen anymore, which obviously made more questions. For the last incident in which the Mothman was seen being such a major incident, and then just for it to disappear straight afterwards is very intriguing. But yeah, that's the gist of the Mothman. It's a very interesting one. There's a good few documentaries that have been made about it. I think it was actually, that's why I took an interest in it. I've just had a memory of a memory right there.
What?
Because the Mothman's one of the very first cryptids I ever heard of. Because there was this old show on Discovery Kids, which is the Discovery Channel for kids. Got discontinued after a while. I think it got bought out by Fox or something. And one of the shows was Mystery Hunters, which was this really cheesy ass show where it was a pair of kids who went around the world and looked into mysteries that were happening. And one of the major ones was Mothman. Terrified me, scared me, because they did these really cheesy recreations of the scenes. But obviously, me being like a 5 to 6 year old kid went, it's scary, don't like it. But yeah, there's a lot of them. So, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that much information on all of mine because I mostly looked at the funny one, so I just wanted a brief description just to see what the fuck. The first one that I saw isn't that really that funny. I just it piqued my interest because it's called Alicanto, which is sounds very similar to my city, which is Alicante. It basically was sighted in mines and caves in Chile, so in Central America, pretty much South America. It basically is this nocturnal bird. It's literally like a Pokemon, and it's it's been described in different ways. It's either luminescent or golden, shiny, it shines. Although its color depends on the diet, because it eats either gold or silver or shit like that. That's why it's been found
that's cool
in mines and stuff. And so apparently, if you follow it, since it eats gold and all that stuff, and it doesn't discover you, you'll find gold and stuff because you go to eat it.
You've just reminded me of another similar cryptid. Keep going. I'll
no, yeah, it's just if it finds out that you're following it, it kills you. Unless you decide to share what you find with him.
See, the one. How do we spell cryptids again? My mind just went blank.
Why first?
I don't know why. Why? Because if I'm remembering right, there's a very similar cryptid that's got a very similar AI. Cave-dwelling cryptids. I believe this one comes from Ireland or somewhere where mining was a major thing. It's one of those ones where it's just filled of ads. There, I read more. I think it was called a tallywhacker or something like that. Sounds silly, I know, but reptilians. Oh my god.
Reptilians? Well, yeah, I guess they.
Melon heads.
What?
No, oh, it costs from the United States.
Oh Christ.
Oh, this looks like it's.
So what are they? Wait,
I don't know. I think it's probably like hills of ice. Sort
yeah,
of thing.
rural areas, Ohio and Michigan, small creatures with elongated heads called. Have been reported attacking people from the woods. Okay.
To be fair,
they were once orphans with hydrocephalus, a condition which fluid builds up in the skull, who lived in an insane asylum. They escaped, blah blah blah, murdering the doctor, becoming cannibals. They turn feral. Reports come from very vastly different geographic regions. Blah blah blah. Niño cow. That's another one. Niño cow. Oh, these are weird. Ahul.
No, not very weird.
Tatzel worm.
No, it was a Ahul or something like that.
I don't know.
It was tallywhackers. Basically, there's still people who believe in them as well because
there's people that believe in everything. People believe
bad
in flat
omens
Earth.
for minors.
We need to talk about the flat Earth. Why haven't we talked about the flat Earth?
Because they're stupid and they don't deserve.
But I want to talk about the flat Earth and how dumb it is. Science.
There's Donut Earth as well and Raptor Earth.
Oh Christ!
The worst shit. The Earth is really a raptor flying through space on top of a smaller raptor.
Really?
No. Oh. It's just the world's a raptor.
Oh, okay.
And I like how I can casually say that as if it's not a stupid idea.
But I mean, it is, but I'm not.
These cave cryptids, tallywhackers, whatever they were, they had a very stupid name. I can remember that. Basically, you would either, or knockers. I think they were called knockers, which is.
Wait, I think you might have told me about this one. They made these like knocking sounds.
They made knocking sounds through the mines, and if you could hear them knocking, it was one of two things: either either it's a knock for danger, which is either gases are released, or
there's going to be like,
there's a cave-in. It's a warning for a cave-in that they would usually cause because they were mischievous creatures. Yes.
Sorry,
they were mischievous creatures who found killing people and mining accidents fun. And yeah, so that's the similar one I was thinking of, in which like some people saw them as bad omens for causing the cave-ins. Some people saw them as good ones for warning them of the cave-ins. But and to the point where there's still miners today who, if they believe there's reported incidents.
I think I might have seen like a video. It might not have been of like knocking sounds, but I saw this video of this guy either in a cave or in like sewers or catacomb type things, and there was like this sound that could be heard, but like that could be.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Is like it's one of those things that they can't explain but can't disprove, and the fact that like in caves you're going to hear sounds. Yeah, because of the echoes and like the size of like different chambers and how like sound bounces and stuff, like water can sound or wind can sound in a certain way. I mean the sound of someone with a pickaxe from 8 miles away can quite easily be heard from a deep in the tunnel as something like someone knocking. But yeah, it's to the point where there's been recorded incidences, very recent ones as well, not very, very recent, like in the last year, but within recent records where miners have full-on refused to work until the owners of the mine have got the mine exterminated of knockers, or whatever they were.
How do they prove that? How do they make sure?
They literally, I believe the company actually did do something to try and make them believe, like, you know, like how you kiss a kid's wounds to make them say it's all better, and they believe you. They probably just put some like high helium or something in there when it's safe now.
Are there any knockers in here? No, it's okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So they're they kind of do still kill, yeah, but they're like the stupid English versions of them, which don't kill you straight away. They just drop rocks on you really hard. You got any other good little ones?
Yes, I do. I have a lot. Okay, so the next one is the Bermuda Blob.
What? The Bermuda Blob. Please tell me that's like linked to the triangle.
It's not. I don't think it's necessarily.
It's the triangle's special cousin.
I think it was like relatively quickly like
triangle and his special friend Banana Blob.
That was like mildly offensive.
It's fine. It's pretty. It's like
it's basically been identified since as like maybe the remains are like part of a whale or a stingray or something like that. But it was basically it was located around like Mangrove Bay, and it was
there's photos of this one, isn't there?
I think so. There was this it was this material, like I don't know how to describe it because it's a blob. It's like this thick white fibrous 2.5 to 3 foot like big thing. I don't know how to fucking...
Yeah, it was hairy, wasn't it? Like from the picture it looks very similar to moss. I'm gonna have to
maybe. I mean, it's just, I guess it's just like a piece of rotten flesh or something. Like whale flesh is white, isn't it?
Kind of, because it's mostly
a lot of animal flesh is white, like fish flesh is white. But yeah, when it was analyzed, it was discovered to have been a sea creature, supposed to be a whale or a ray.
Because I want to have a look at if my phone stops dying. Thank you. The Banana Blob.
Banana Blob. There's also another blob from elsewhere, but I forget what it's called. But it's like,
yeah, because
I was looking in the wiki and it says this picture's the same one that you put for the somewhere else blob.
See, that's the thing, is the fact that like it's not. That's what I find interesting about this one, is it's not a single case.
It's been cited a few times.
It's been cited a good few times, and there's like similar things of like similar like mutated looking animals that have washed up on shore.
The last sighting I think was in 1997, so that's a while ago. I think this one was the one in 1997. It just, I don't know. It looks.
There's a modern version that has been found, which again could easily be like.
No, that totally looks like a whale carcass.
Yeah.
The blob one just looks like a white blob.
See, here's another one where it's got the fibre-ish look, like
that looks like almost like a dolphin.
Yeah, I won't show these ones on stream just because they are a bit gory, but they are definitely worth a look.
I don't know. It just definitely looks. I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny.
The Banana Blob, and then your next option.
The next one is even better because it's the bloop.
Bloop.
And technically, the bloop, like all the illustrations that I've seen of the bloop, are like literally compared to like a whale. It's like twice the size of a whale. It's like fatter, but it's like longer as well. So it was okay.
Are you on about this one? Because a lot of the photos used to describe the bloop is literally just like fantasy photos. So there's the bloop.
That would be the size comparison.
That's what,
and this would be an interpretation, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those cryptids that has actually never really been seen.
It's basically being like recorded.
Oh God! Oh God! That was unpleasant for everyone. Oh, I'm so shameful.
It was basically a recorded low frequency sound. It was a low frequency, very, very loud sound that was recorded, and the source of it has never really been proven. Like, there's theories about what it could be. One of them is the bloop.
Yeah, one of the more scientific theories is that it was an underground earthquake or ice from the ice caps breaking.
Yeah, that's what
which is common.
Or an underwater volcano, but they still didn't have much proof that it could be that because it was such a loud sound. And
but that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, there's another theory in that it's just full on, just not even like
tectonic plates or something.
Well, that's technically still earthquake,
well, yeah, that's
isn't
earthquakes.
it? Yeah, we're just like two of the world's most massive tectonic plates that are technically on the surface but are still underwater.
That should be able to have been proven, I guess.
But at the same time, you've got to realize how little we know about.
But like scientists record like movements in like the earth and like earthquakes and stuff like that, especially in like areas that are more like that have a bigger tendency for that to happen because they can have like tsunamis and stuff like that. So they have to be aware of that. Yeah, with like radar and shit like that. That's how they detected this.
But like say if it was just you could. I don't know.
That's the thing. Is like I feel like if this has been recorded, they would have recorded something else that could have proven or disproven what it could have been, or what the source of it could have been.
But as well as like, you've got to realize how far sound travels through water.
That's the thing. That's the problem, because it's so loud. It's like, where can this come from that we don't know? If it's so loud.
Imagine how loud it must have sounded if there wouldn't have been water in a way. That would have been ear shattering. But yes, this one's very easy one to look up. This one is all over the YouTube.
There's supposed to be like recordings of it.
Yeah, it's easy access for the recordings. And guess why it's called the bloop? It's because it makes a bloop sound.
I don't really heard, like, I think it makes just like a whale sound kind of almost.
Hi, hey, I'm Lame Boy. Hi.
Oh.
I was trying to figure out how to say that without like sound like I'm stuttering again. It's like, boy. Hey, hi, hey, Lame, hey, Lame Boy, like that.
Great.
I was playing with I was playing with fate there. I was just straight up jinxing myself. But no, one of the ones I want to go on about is another one that has got a lot of common sightings, to the point where it's less a single cryptid, more of a sight of a group of cryptids. That's big cats within England. So throughout England, for many people who don't live here or know anything about it, we have got our own species of cryptids, in which there's been a few famous stories, one including Sherlock Holmes, about these giant cats. Sometimes
isn't Sherlock Holmes fiction though? Yeah,
that's the thing. So it's like they've been seen throughout history and within England, and every time they pop up, literature comes and try and like capitalizes off it, because that's how it works. But they've been described as panthers, leopards, and sometimes like just as wild, like as hellhounds.
Couldn't it be like some sort of like wild mountain cat type thing?
But that's the thing. England doesn't have any cats, wild cats in it that size.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
because there is like countryside areas where they.
Because that's the thing. That's the thing. Because that's the thing is the fact that.
But yeah, where would they come from?
Yeah, that's the thing, is that a lot of species in England shouldn't really be here. That's a problem with our our current climate. I don't know, maybe ecosystem. Yeah, maybe. That's the British big cats. Here we are, but also known as phantom cats or mystery cats.
I didn't know, because that's the thing. It's such a simple thing.
They describe as panthers, pumas, and black cats, and sometimes hellhounds, just because of the size and pitch blackness of them. And that's usually a very common description for them, is that they're these big black cats, with which are giant, and they're not giant. They're like wild cat giant. So, and that the reason they're called giants is because they shouldn't really be here. So for any British person, seeing a wild cat outdoors is terrifying. Hell, if it was just a house cat, it would be terrifying. But yeah, so that's what makes them so weird, is the fact that they're not, by all accounts, they shouldn't be here. I mean, we have to have a deer hunting season in England just to make sure deers don't overpopulate to the point where they'll destroy the rest of the ecosystem. So it's one of those morally grey things. But and that's one of the things of, well, how do we not know they're here? Because one, England's not that big. We should be able to scan the full place and find them. Two, we would be able. Surely, if there was a large enough amount of them for them to be a normal species here, we'd see them more commonly, and then we would see evidence of them around more commonly. But we just don't. They appear. They either found nearby, or see or witness nearby, and I'm not sure, because I've just quickly looked through this one, just because I love the idea of telling people more about England's cryptids, because we don't have that many.
There's no need, really.
Yeah, but it's interesting, man.
It's funny.
Every country needs their own like mythical monsters.
I don't know
What
if
does England have?
Spain
Dragons.
has cryptids.
I mean, dragons are badass, but
yeah,
got a bit like that.
The connection was.
That's fine. We're going off uni connection, but yeah, and I'm not sure if they've ever tested anyone, but every time one appeared, the place that they appear at, because that's the thing, they're not centralized to a specific area like most cryptids. They are literally just they're casually spotted, and people always freak out when they see them, because English people aren't used to it. And I think that's what I like about this one the most, is that it's kind of believable. Not in the sense that, again, we have full ability to find them if they did exist, and somehow they just keep appearing. And that's the thing. It's quite recent as well, because if I remember rightly, that quite recently, Lad Bible shared a story of
But it was a video.
Staged.
No, in the States. I mean.
No, that was in England.
Oh.
But yeah, that one was in England, and again, that's what I find fascinating. Most cryptids, there's a certain point where like witnesses stop really seeing it. It stops really being witnessed as much, or if at all, it just stops really appearing. Even the Loch Ness Monster hasn't been seen in centuries. I'm pretty sure it's finally been. Now that one got confirmed to be faked, in it. The original 4 anyway.
I'm not sure, actually, because I haven't looked up the more like traditional ones for this.
The original 4, the black and white one of just the head.
Yeah, no, that's a classic. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that one was found out to be.
I mean, fake. I'm not surprised, to be honest.
But people still believe, which I've got to appreciate that one. But yeah, that's the. That is the Black Cats of England, the British Black Cats, BBCs. Oh my God, I just realised that our one and only true cryptid that is seen today,
the BBC,
is the BBC. And obviously there's Chupacabra, that is a classic. We might have went on about before.
No, I just uploaded a picture of it today on my Instagram, like a foot of the Chupacabra. There's been
there's
the
one I wanted. Here's the one that I said sounded like a film movie. The Lizard Man of Scape or Swamp. How badass does that sound? That sounds.
I'm gonna make a B movie.
Proper B movie
like
with a man in a Robin suit.
Campy B movie.
Oh, and here's the one, another classic one.
Big earthworm.
The Mongolian death worms.
Yes. What's the bullworm from SpongeBob?
Oh yeah, it's basically that. Where I'm not some origins for the Mongolian death worm. Guess where it comes from? Some say that it's a giant worm that eats creatures. Again, giant for the sake of worms standards. The sizes of the creature vary. Some say
it's probably a snake.
Yeah. But its main thing is, again, the death part of it. That there's a reason it's earned the death worm rather than the Mongolian worm. The pink worm.
I always forget the SpongeBob one. What's it called?
You had it right the first time.
Oh, really?
A bullworm, yeah.
Oh, was it just a bullworm? Wasn't it a pink? Oh no, that was part of the description. It's just like the thing that's on the
right. The Mongolians say it can kill at a distance by either spraying a venom at its prey or by means of electrical discharge. This is an electrically charged worm.
It's literally one of them.
Have you got one incubating
stun guns?
In you?
Like what?
Have you got one incubating in you?
Yeah.
Are you just gonna have a Mongolian worm chest burst out of you, and then and you're just gonna be so pleased because now you're not gonna get electric shocked by everything.
I'm just gonna pay back. I'm gonna electrocute all the shopping carts ever.
Because this isn't a new one either. This is another one of the cryptids that its origins are really old. With the first book being written there. The first book being found in Western civilization, being wrote in 1926. So that's only Western part, but apparently this is after a Western person came back from their journey and wrote about the stories they were told. So in tradition, the Mongolian death worm is a very old creature, and it is just seen as pure death, because as well as that, as well as the being able to spit poison and shoot lightning,
it's a Tesla coil.
It's just the emperor in worm form, say ultimate power. But as well as that, it was so toxic you can't touch it.
I mean, it's gonna electrocute you anyway. So
yeah, that's the thing. Is the fact that it's deadly in two ways. Both ways could quite easily kill someone, but it just went. How about two rather than one? Have you got any other cool?
Yes. I was looking one up.
That can't be real. That's a meme.
Okay, wait. So my next one. But wait, let me just say what I was gonna say before. You were talking about when these accounts were and all that stuff, and I was looking this one up, and I forget which one it was. I don't think it was one of the ones that I wrote down, but it was the first sighting was 40,000 years ago.
Oh wow!
But I forget which one it was. But anyway, the next one that I was going to talk about is cactus cat, and I wrote that down because it reminded me of campus cat.
Because.
And it's basically what it sounds. It's being located in the American Southwestern desert areas like California, Nevada, or New Mexico, and it's basically it's a bobcat cat that has spike fur. And apparently it feeds off of cactus juice, and it's rarely violent. Although, according to the
just gotta go fast.
According to the Cryptid wiki, it's only aggressive towards cacti, which is
like any normal cat.
But
have you ever seen the amount of cat videos where cats just beat the shit out of cactuses?
Yeah. And apparently it also has a very loud whale type thing. And it was even cited by the pioneers.
Ooh.
It's probably a porcupine, a puma, or a bobcat. It makes a lot of sense that it would be a porcupine.
That'd be cool. But I like how that would make sense for a lot of the reasons. It makes sense why a porcupine would fight a cactus, because who's the more spiky?
But yeah, I just thought it was funny because especially the illustrations on the page is literally what you would imagine.
The Ozark Howler.
What's that? Oh my god.
That's the Ozark Howler. It looks like Sully it looks like an angry version of Sully.
And that's the other illustration of it. Is this Wikipedia?
Yeah. I was just looking for quick monsters because I wanted to try and find the Australian one, which was a deadly otter. King Otter. Yeah, that's another cryptid that we quickly found more hilarious than terrifying in the fact that in Australian folklore there's a giant otter that is nicknamed King Otter but has many different other names.
Long live the King Otter.
Oh my god. And it just kills things because it's a pissed off otter that's 4 times the size of normal otters, and it's really big. And I love how there's so many cryptids that are just bigger versions of normal things.
Yeah.
And just
because we always like to imagine it's have you ever seen a shark? Imagine that, but even bigger, or a fucking squid or something like that. It's imagine that but bigger.
Isn't the worst Australian one?
The yowie.
Yowie. It looks so sad.
It's just a guy.
It's a dude. It's just a dude that got dirty one day and was walking home. I love it. That's what I was on about. I was just looking for. There's a lot of
It's literally Sassy the Sasquatch.
Yeah, that was literally it. Is the fact that oh my god, that explains so much. Is Sassy the Sasquatch a yowie?
I mean, it's supposed to be a Sasquatch. There's different varieties because a Sasquatch, a Yeti, a Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that there's so many. There's so many. There's literally if you go there's the skunk ape as well, which is a thing. And
I mean, I know the Yeti is literally the snow.
I think there's a photo.
But there's distinct determined definitions and differentiations between all the different types of Bigfoots.
Oh.
But they're definitely like the more consistent ones, which is very interesting.
There's a Chinese one, which is Yeren, which is basically the Chinese version of just the hills have eyes, which it's crazy wild men and the things, and apparently they just like write warnings and blood.
Oh.
So that's a proper green, what was it, cannibal holocaust sort of thing. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's like as well as there being these really unique weird ones, there's a lot of that do sort of cross-reference each other. Like there's different Yeti, like
yeah, I think the Yeti one is like, I guess it's the most interesting and the most boring one at the same time because it's the classic one and everyone knows about it and stuff. But at the same time, it's very interesting that so many people would see something so similar but so specific, I guess.
If the Honey Island, there's a...
Because it's not a monkey. It's like distinctively not a monkey. Because it's like very much human-like, supposedly, allegedly.
There's a
a what?
Oh, this is another one that's very there's a very Bigfooty, which it's the Honey Island swamp monster, and apparently it stinks. It's 2 meters tall, 7 feet tall, with great hair, grey hair, and and yellow and red eyes, accompanied by a disgusting smell. But and apparently has webbed feet. So, but I just love that there's a honey monster. There's a Honey Island monster. It's like weird, and it just gives me flashbacks to the.
Maybe it's just weird.
I'm looking through these because I'm just looking at the names because there's just so many.
I'm gonna leave the list of cryptids according to the Cryptid wiki.
Yeah, honestly, there's so fun one.
I'm also gonna leave the Flatwoods Monster documentary in the description. Because it's an amateur like video essay type thing.
There's a cryptid called Selma. Selma, the lake monster. It's just a serpent. It's like this is an emblem using it, but like it's just a serpent. The coat of arms is Norwegian. Selma. Oh, it's a sea snake one.
Probably just a mutant eel.
But like that reminds me of another form of a cryptid, which it might be Selma. But have you seen the one where it's that tadpole-looking monster?
Yeah, you've got to see the same one as kind of the bloop.
It might be. I'm not sure, but basically, for anyone who hasn't seen it, this is apparently
like a giant tadpole type thing.
And what's best about this photo, which makes it seem a bit staged, is there's a little boat, like dinghy boat, out there for size comparison. And this thing looks like a massive tadpole. It is massive. The tail itself is curling around the little boat. But apparently, as soon as it looks peaceful at first, but
wait, is it a video then or a photo?
No, it's a photo. But this is going from descriptions because I've watched a lot of videos about this one because I do like cryptids. But yeah, the creature apparently as soon as one of them like started putting a hand in, it went beat and started getting aggressive. There's a Japanese lake monster, giant anacondas. Look at the nickname for it though.
Megaconda.
Megaconda. That's another one which I can strongly believe because I feel like that's less cryptid, snakes. more of.
Look at this big snake.
Look at this big ass. Look at how big the snake is, man. It's too big. But yeah, that's another one which again there's been cases in which this creature has just managed to survive for so long.
I mean, didn't we post the other day this picture of an alleged shark that was like 400 years old, something like that?
Oh yeah. Where it's a species of shark that is just like one of those species that like survived extinction, and it's just been like that other fish that was thought to be extinct and then they found it in a Mariana Trench.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. There's a documentary on Netflix about that one.
You know, the fact that, and again, you can just see the age on these animals because they look like living fossils.
Yeah.
They look like their skin looks like it's made out of rock. There's Chessie.
Yeah, all the there's a lot of like very similar ones to Nessie, like Bessie and shit like that.
Yeah. Chesapeake Bay. Where's this one at?
It's always like water monsters.
American. I want to see what Champ is because Champ sounds like he's a Champ's another one where it's another lake monster, and that's the thing. That's what we were just on about. How there's these different lake monsters that all are very similar in like the sort of appearance and description. Yeah, I just know it's just I just love this. I mean, they've got the Jersey Devil and the Thunderbird.
The Jersey Devil, what's that?
Have you never heard of the Jersey Devil?
I think I might have. It sounds very familiar, really.
You got obviously in New Jersey. There's a description for it.
The Jersey Devil. Horrible.
Hang on, let's see if it can focus on it with it being a bit white, very light. There we are. That's
it looks like a weirdly shaped.
Yeah, that one I believe was one of the ones that caused a lot of pandemonium because like it wasn't shy at all. Apparently, it was really aggressive. Apparently, it was born from a satanic ritual, which just instantly gives it bonus points.
This woman was had like 12 kids, and she was pregnant for the 13th time.
Oh,
so she cursed the child in frustration, crying that the child would be the devil. During 1735, Mother Leach was in labor, and a stormy night, of course, while friends gathered around her. It's totally normal. The child changed to a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Crying and screaming, it killed the midwife before flying in the chimney and heading into the pines.
Jesus.
Some versions of the tale, Mother Leach was supposedly a witch, and the child's father was the devil himself. And some other versions also state that there was an attempt by local clergymen to exorcise the creature. Or that the creature proceeded to kill the local children.
Oh, damn. But yeah, that's another one. It caused a lot of pandemonium. I mean, there's another one. There's been a lot of satanic-based cryptids as well. I mean, there's Spring-Heeled Jack as well, which is a British one. But basically, you've never heard of Spring-Heeled Jack?
No. I've heard of Jack the Ripper.
No, Spring-Heeled Jack was this devil-like character who would appear out of nowhere, like attack a person, and then after getting chased by authorities, would jump stupid heights.
Looks like Batman.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like
a Victorian Batman,
gothier Victorian version of Batman.
So Spring-Heeled Jack was described by people who claim to have seen him as having terrifying, frightful appearance with diabolical. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
Where?
The blue word, the first blue word.
Oh, physiognomy.
Yeah, I'll accept that one. I can't.
Physiognomy. I just didn't know it was spelled like that.
Clawed hands and eyes that resembled red balls of fire. Holy balls of fire. Beneath a black cloak, he wore a helmet and a tight-fitting white garment like an oilskin. Mention devil-like. Many stories also mention a devil-like aspect. Others said he was tall and thin, with appearance of a gentleman. So in the 19th century,
is it supposed to be like an alien or something?
He's mainly described as a ghost or cryptid-like character.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's different types of cryptids, because it's like, if it's so human-like...
So he'd stalk the streets of London. These human... they were described as pale. It was believed that they stalked and preyed on lone pedestrians. Form part of the distinct tradition in London. The ghost tradition, the Hammersmith ghost. Early reports. First, so there's a photo of interpretation of Jack escaping the police, in which this is how he got his name, in which that while running away he would do impossible jumps and
he was a parkour guy.
He was that is literally one of the theories, that he was just this serial assaulter
serial parkourist.
Yeah, who would attack people and then just go, "Hey, fuck you, cut pig," and then just
Victorian parkour,
and then just like jump over a fence in his really dapper shoes. There's literally even theories that he had like a spring-heeled system, like proper Inspector Gadget style, where he just had like
jumping jacks.
Yeah, where he had like powerful springs in his shoes that allowed him to like jump really high whenever he.
Well, yeah, isn't that where jumping jacks come from and shit like that?
It might be, I don't know, but so in October of 1837, a girl with the name of Mary Stevenson's walked Lavender Hill. I wonder what's on that hill. Where she was working as a servant after visiting her parents in Balzac. On her way through a street, a strange figure leapt out.
Clapham Common.
I just can't be. I didn't want to read it.
Sorry.
I didn't feel it was necessary.
Began to kiss her face. What? While ripping her clothes and touching her flesh with her claws. Girl screams. The attacker flees.
Apparently, he had a deposition of a cold and clammy corpse.
Okay.
Apparently, people flee the scene.
It was just a parkour Victorian rapist. Essentially.
There's so there's another one where he's scared off. He did the same thing in front of a carriage, scaring the horse and causing a crash that injured all of them. And there was a point where he got officially recognised as well as people.
I'm going to assume
his
killer name was Sweat Hands.
Sweat Hands. So yeah, apparently he had very clammy hands. You an ancestor of
probably
Spring Heel Jack. But yeah, that's another there's just so many to pick from. That's why I love them, is the fact that like they're so varied as well. There's obviously the ones where they like that sort of not proves, but helps the fact of that it's easy to believe in them. And there's like, well, there's different versions of the same thing from around the world. That can't be coincidence. And I was like, kind of can.
Yeah,
like,
there's things.
There's a thing called a story that travels.
And the confirmation bias.
Yeah. Plus, if you're wanting to make something scary, what's easier than a big scary ape creature that's like humanoid, or a big lizard that travels through the water? Yeah, like water isn't terrifying enough as it is. But then you get all these really funny, stupid ones like Mothman and the Bloop
and the Cactus Cat.
And the Cactus Cat. God, it sounds like such a meme. And it's just so many weird ones, man. Like, but we are running out of time.
You let us know what your favorite cryptid is. Whether it's because it's ridiculous or because you think it might be slightly plausible. Like we said, we will leave all the links to like lists of cryptids and stuff if you want to have a look at like the ones that we haven't mentioned or the ones that we have mentioned. Our social media, as always, at _creepycorner on Instagram and Twitter, and at CP Creepy Corner on Facebook. And yes.
Yeah, and again, please do tell us all your favourite cryptids, because if there's some that we failed to mention today, then we'd be very happy to just
read on them.
Yeah, read up on them and maybe do another one about all the fan ones that have came up that we might like.
Yeah.
But till then,
that's all. Yeah.
See you later, guys.
Thank you very much for joining us this week.